Hi, this is Vince from Burn Stainless with another episode of Vince in Shorts. Today we're going to go over some of our Harley-Davidson systems. Since we've started working in this field, we've really tried to listen to our customers and come out with different solutions for different people. So we're really not one of those typical companies that just has one product and wants to put it on everything. We want to come up with systems that are really focused to deal with particular niches in the marketplace while still being able to run a business. So these aren't custom systems, but they are really tailored to individual applications. The purpose of this video is to go through some of those options to give you a little bit better of an idea of what you need. There are some explanations on the website, and you can also give us a call. But I wanted just to kind of go through an overview here of what we're doing. So our original exhaust that we came out with first came out on the twin cam bagger, and then when the M8 bagger came out, we came out with the system for that as well. So this is the Milwaukee-Eight exhaust. So this is the rear primary, and this is the front primary. And on these, I just want to show you a few of the features and the benefits of each of those features. So one, we have a CNC stub that we actually have machined that fits perfectly into the port. It also provides a very smooth entry into the exhaust. The port is the most important place to make sure that you get smooth flow in a header, because that's where the exhaust velocities are the fastest and where you can have drag losses very quickly. So on our what we call our standard system for the Milwaukee-Eight, which is really our big system, so I need to come up with a better name than standard, because this is the big mama. Maybe that's the new name, we'll find out. But this is a 2-inch tube that comes right after we come out of the head, which this is the largest size that we can come out of the head with. We immediately step up to a 2-inch primary. We step it to 2 1/8, and then finally step it to 2 1/4 before we go into our collector. So the purpose of the steps is to broaden the power band of the motor. So we get better torque by keeping the velocity high through the exhaust system. However, if we kept the exhaust the same size all the way through, we would have big drag losses through each of those systems. So by making them larger, we're keeping the velocity fast up at the port, which remember I said was the most important place, and then we're stepping it up and making sure that we're trying to reduce those drag losses as we go through the pipe. Another feature of the steps is that each of these steps actually becomes a reflection point. And what I mean by that is that what happens with a header is that when the exhaust valve opens, there's a pressure pulse that emanates from the port. As it travels down the pipe, it'll actually, in a normal pipe, it would actually reflect off of the end of the pipe, and you would actually get a negative wave that would come back up. That's a suction wave. And by timing that suction wave to get back up to the port just as the exhaust valve is closing, we're actually scavenging that cylinder and getting as much of that exhaust gas out as we can. And if we do it really well, we're actually giving the intake charge a bit of a head start as it comes into the port. So that's what happens at the end. Now, wherever we have an area change, like at these two step points, we're also getting a reflection. So those reflections are timed at different points through the system, and therefore we always have a scavenge wave that's going up into the exhaust system and trying to broaden that power band throughout the RPM band. So that's kind of with the exhaust. The rear pipe, very similar, but just have curly Qs. But again, a 2 1/8, 2 1/4 inch on the exhaust. The rear pipe is shorter than the front, unfortunately, and in the way that the Harleys are built with those V-twins, we really can't get those really optimized into an exhaust system that kind of fits with everything else. But with that sweeping forward shape that we have that really kind of epitomizes the Burn Stainless exhaust pipe, we're really trying to get as much length as we can in that tube. One of the other options is to go back and tucked in. Unfortunately, with that system, you have a lot more bends in the pipe, which are also a little bit of a problem when we're looking at drag losses through the exhaust. So that's some of the reasoning for why we've done what we've done. Also, I want to show you that on all of our pipes, we actually come with 12 millimeter and 18 millimeter exhaust O2 bungs. The 18 millimeters are normally used for the advanced racing tuners and running a wideband O2 sensor. And then the 12 millimeter is here for those systems that are running the stock ECUs. Some racing classes require you to run stock ECUs, so we've left those ports in there. But normally people are going to be running the 18 millimeter ports. Also, if you do run the 12s, the 18 ports are going to be available, so when you go to your tuner, he can plug his O2 sensors into those ports and makes the tuning process much simpler. So that's our NHB standard exhaust. And also with the standard exhaust, it's the mid-length system that, again, that I think is probably the quintessential burn systems that you see out there. So this megaphone exhaust ends just before the rear axle dumps underneath the bags and will fit under normal extended as well as standard or chopped bags. I know that there are some people that feel that they want to have a longer exhaust on their bikes to kind of mimic what the factory came with, or just to kind of fill up that hole on the back of those extended bags. So in that case, we run an extended system. And this isn't a true extended system. This is our jig pipe that we use, but it's the only one that I have available for the purposes of this video. So this was the extended system, and that would go underneath the bag and exit out towards the rear of the bike. Now, the other benefits of this is, one, it takes it aesthetically takes it to the rear of the pipe for the bike, for those that would like that. Number two, it is quieter for the rider. So the rider, with the sound coming back behind the bags, it does make for a bit more pleasant of a riding experience. But I would have to say too, though, that the standard megaphone mid-length, that is the optimized system, and is really for all the bikes where we've been able to test back to back, this one has always produced the better power and better torque throughout the system. So if you're interested in performance, this is the one. Now, this pipe is really, with these new Milwaukee-Eights, they have a lot of cubic inches in them. These pipes are really good for 135 cubic inches and above, maybe 132 with a hot cam. But that's the sweet spot for this, and it takes you up to 150, I think we've had a 153, and somebody out there, I think it was a 155 cubic inch motor. But this is the pipe that you're going to want. We have customers out there making in excess of 230 horsepower running this system. So again, this is the badass system for these bikes. Now, I said badass system, but I really didn't mean it, because for the real badasses out there, we have the WTF system. So the WTF system comes with welded flanges. So as I showed you in the past with this other system, the exhaust port on the Harley exhaust is limited to really about 1 7/8 tube. That's the largest tube that you can put on there, which really means 1 3/4 inch on the inside. So a lot of those guys out there, including Rick Ward over at Ward Performance, they decided that's not enough, they want more. So what they've done is actually ported the heads so that you no longer have the counterbore system that is used in the standard exhaust. So we've actually welded these flanges on. The ports are ported to a full 1 7/8 inside diameter, which matches the 2-inch tube that we've been using on our systems. So for those guys that are running the Ward Performance square port heads, as he calls them, this is the system you're going to want, the WTF. So that's really kind of the largest exhaust that's available. that we're making for these. Until you guys start making bigger ports, this will be it. Again, we've got the 18, 12 millimeter ports on there, and it does run the same megaphone system that we've had. I think that we have had somebody that's been wanting an extended system with the WTF setup. It's kind of unusual because these guys would mostly be the performance people, but some guys like their cake and also eat it too. Some other portions of the exhaust that come out is, this is the transmission mount. So this is the mount that would mount to the transmission and then would mount to the side of the megaphone exhaust. If you're running the extended system, you would not use this. It would just mount to the standard stock exhaust in the rear of the bike. Also, when you're looking down into the system, you're going to see that there are a couple of options, and those options include one, a heat shield that goes on the rear pipe right about where your knee would touch the pipe. And then also the other option is black ceramic coating. So one of the other trim options that we have is actually an open megaphone. So an open megaphone is a full race system that has no internal baffling in the megaphone, as opposed to this one that comes on the regular mid-length standard system. And the purpose of the open megaphone is really to make top end power. The baffles really help with the mid-range torque on these bikes, and they really make the bikes run well in the lower RPM band. They're much smoother through it. The open megaphone is going to give you a very sharp increase in power. It's going to keep power at the top. So that's somebody that's going to be drag racing their bike. They're going to stay in that top 1,000 RPM band, maybe 1,500 RPM band up there, and they don't care what it does below that. Otherwise, it's very loud. Really, the drivability is going to be poor. So really, there's really very a select number of people that are going to go for the open megaphone. Now, with Harley-Davidson coming out with the new CVO models, particularly the CVO ST, we found that was just such a wonderful platform, and we thought that, you know, this motor would, with just a header and a tuner, I'm sure is going to make tons of power. So what we did is that we actually took our same designs that we use for our standard system, and we've downsized them. So instead of going from 1 7/8 to 2 inch, this pipe goes directly just to 1 7/8. So this one's 1 7/8 OD, stepped to 2 inch, stepped to 2 1/8. So this pipe really is optimized for that 121 cubic inch motor. So you can use something as simple as a Screaming Eagle tuner. You put this pipe, put that on the CVO ST, and we've seen 15 horsepower like that. And it really makes the bike move really well. We've had another customer, though, that called me up, said he just got a new CVO ST, wanted to use our pipe. Which one do I recommend? I recommended this one. Went out there, he's the guy that made 15 horsepower. So he calls me up a month later, and he says, "Hey Vince, I put a 135 kit on it, and I want to, you know, we made 180 horsepower." And I go, "You did what?" If I knew you were going to do that, I would have put you in this other pipe. And but he said, no, it's really good. And that's Jason Broski out there in the Midwest. He's doing the tuning for him, and he was really amazed, and as was I. And then he went off, did some more tuning on it, went to E85, and he made 193 horsepower out of this pipe. I did not think that this pipe would support that, but it really does. And I got a call from him this morning, and he just made 196. So he is really trying to gain on this. Of course, you know, he wants to make that 198, 199. I think he was afraid to say that he really wants 200 horsepower, but I think he'll get there. Now, just as a comparison, what he did is he went and he put the standard system on. So, and I forgot to tell you that. So actually the difference between the 193 and the 196 is the difference between the VST and the standard system, which really for that size of a motor would have this in there. So if you're planning on upgrading, you can go here. You might be a little bit soft on the bottom. You might have a little bit of a torque hole, but if really what your goal is to start building a bigger motor, put heavier, bigger cams, then I would go here. If you're going to be happy with that 121-ish to 128 cubic inch, 130 cubic inch motor, I'd go to the VST. And then, of course, if you're going all out with that square port Ward Performance cam, then you're going to want to go with the WTF system. So I hope that makes this a little bit clearer. Standard system, 135 cubic inch and above. VST system, 121 cubic inches, roughly up to about that 132 cubic inch motor. And these WTFs, you know, they're these are the guys that are in that 200 plus horsepower range. So that's kind of with our drag race system or our first performance system. Those are the choices. Now, of course, we've just recently come out with the road racing system. So the road racing system is the same size as our VST system in terms of pipe sizes, but this one has been built to go at more like a Dynapipe. The old Dynapipes are designed where they actually swing out over the cam cover and come back. And the reason that we've done that is to make clearance for mid controls. This is the exhaust system that we use for that one. And what we've done is we've gone to the cylindrical muffler to kind of keep some muffling, not reducing the power, and also keeping the diameter small for being able to do some canyon carving. So that was kind of the purpose of this. And this is also a 2.5-inch muffler versus a 3-inch internal muffler on these other systems. And again, the reason that we went to that is we wanted to kind of preserve that mid-range torque, because that's really what you're doing when you're riding in the canyons, and it's really done a very, very good job. So the front pipe is just like the VST, and then that is the rear pipe. So I think that pretty well covers our bagger systems, particularly for the Milwaukee-Eight. The twin cam is considerably simpler because we really only have one choice of primary pipe sizes, and then we have the mid-length megaphone system and the extended system in the twin cam. So I hope that wasn't too much information. Again, take a look at the website. I think we explain everything there pretty well. Give us a call and we'll let you know what is the best pipe to use. So with that, I just want you to remember to subscribe to our website, give us a like, and let us know what other videos you want to see. But this is Vince at Burn Stainless, signing off.